I'd like to call the meeting to order Monday, December 18, 2023 at 6:01 PM. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Susan, could you please do roll call?
Sure. Reardon?
Present.
Walsh?
Present.
Andres?
Present.
Layton?
Present.
Ally?
Hetmer. Present. Yes.
And Stuzinski.
Here.
Well done.
All right. Thank you, Susan. All right. Moving on to the agenda. Is there any conflict of interest? All right. Need approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as is for Monday, December 18th, 2023.
Or,
All right. Motion by Layton, support by Reardon.
We do need to add in the meeting dates for next year. Was that on your agenda? Did she amend the agenda to add that already? Or do you have a
I
date?
think those need to be an amendment. I think
Okay,
you're right.
so we do need to add that in.
Okay.
I retract my motion.
You just friendly amendment to approve with the addition of a 90.
9D for meeting dates for 24.
Yeah.
Was there a document with that already?
On your table, there should be a document. It's got your logo on the top of it. It's a resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
It'll be 2023 too.
I thought that was added.
Yeah, that's okay. And you went too fast. I didn't get you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We need the,
Motion to add meeting dates for 2024 as item 9D on the agenda.
All right, I'll second that. All right. New motion by Reardon, second by Endrest. Approval agenda passed. I have to do all in favor. Yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Sorry, a little rusty. All right. Looks like we have some public here tonight. Does anyone have any public comment at this time? All right.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and all of you. And setting aside the weather, did we think a month or a few weeks ago that this date would be so congested with all plans for activities outside of this? But you know what? Someone who couldn't be here has put into writing and then tried to mail it today, realizing it was a bit late to get to you. But it was, for some reason, 3 or 4 of your names didn't go through. So what I did was first I'm going to ask a question. Is this the time, Mr. Chairman, when I can comment on the plan and some suggestions that are being made? Or is that going to come forward? I'll come back.
Yeah, we do have, for business before the Parks Commission, 9A, which would be the
Okay.
public hearing. I think
I'll wait till
that probably
then.
would be a better time if
We
that,
have another public comment right after that.
yes. If it's revolving, involving the 5-year park plan.
Yeah,
we
it
can-
is. Okay, I'll be back.
Yeah, if you can maybe hold on for then. So, yeah.
Let me ask a clarification.
Yes.
You said it's going to be right after that. So is there going to be public comment ahead, during the public hearing, ahead of any action?
Yeah, during the
Yeah.
public hearing, you can make comments only on the 5-year park and rec plan, and then there will be a decision following that public hearing.
Yep. Thank you, Sarah.
And I guess wanted some clarification too is, so are we reviewing this as like the final document or, because I thought it was already open to the public for edits. So is that window still open?
Today, like it ends today with the public
Okay.
hearing.
So their comments will be
Right,
included? Okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
All right. On to item 6, approval of the minutes, November 20th, 2023.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
All right.
Second that?
Approval of the minutes for November 20th, 2023. Motion made by Walsh, second by Reardon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I just have a question on the Jens Park. Actually, it wasn't Jens Park. I think it was on Arbutus. Didn't Garth or he said that maybe he could come back with a bid on paving Arbutus 5?
Probably with an estimate on it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any
I
updates.
think he made the comment on that.
I'd have to circle back to it. I don't have anything from him.
Okay, I was just wondering about
He said he
that.
was going to reach out to the road commission to talk about if there'd be an issue with them doing the replanment involved putting in new culverts at the Mouthway Drive.
Yeah, but I think he was saying he was going to try to come back with an estimate on what it would be to repave all that, so.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't
You haven't
seen-
heard anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So hopefully here soon we will. All right. I don't think there was any new correspondences other than there was an email this afternoon from a resident regarding the 5-year plan. So we can probably bring that email up in that 9A
Correct.
portion. We can talk about it.
And Zach just resent it to everybody through the, how we
PKS.
traditionally communicate with the PKS at East Bay Township for it to make it into the communication record, because that's how you have to submit, is using that email.
And if we're going to discuss the email, we'll have to make a note to make sure it's in the minutes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on to reports. 8A, treasurer's report. Harrison?
Standard payroll this month, we had a couple invoices from Wade Trim and Beckett Readers, 3,900 there, and then we did do a big chunk to Spence Brothers for the Arbutus Lake 5, 225, so that was the big activity of the month. But we've been paying them for that work they've been doing out there, so nothing out of the ordinary though.
All right, thank you. Any comments on that? All right. 8B, Susan, would you like to give us a little community garden update?
Yep, thanks again for Corey, Ryan, and Ally, and of course, Sarah also for getting it ball rolling on the 4 forms. And I guess you only have 3 on your table now, but there are 4 forms total for the community garden. So you should have rules and guidelines for the community garden. Then you should have a gardener information about the community garden. Then you should have an application for the garden, and then just general information. So if we don't put it for January's meeting, then maybe we could do February's meeting to discuss each one of these forms. And then that, once you read all of these forms, then maybe when we have our public meeting on the community garden and these forms, that we'll be able to see that the governance of the community garden and what it would entail, pretty much by what you're going to be reading about here. So we can all come back with some changes, suggestions, and have that done. But again, I think the governance of that community garden should be pretty clear after you read. It's pretty detailed, and so good reading, and can't wait to have it on the agenda finally.
Yeah, so I'll include them in your digital packet too for January, but this will get you a head start if you want to start reading and marking them up here.
Thank you.
Yep. You sent out an email, were those to the other parks commissioners? I can't remember.
I think it was just to you,
Okay.
to the two of us.
Yeah.
but I can forward that out too.
Yeah, maybe, I didn't look that close, maybe we can
Yeah.
just forward that to everyone too, so they have.
Yeah, I can send that out.
They can have the attachment in an email if they want to look at it.
Make sure you have 4, because I sent them as, all together, so there should be 4, although you only have 3 here, so, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Susan, I did find some grants that might fit this. So once we do get through this, we can talk more on getting some grants in.
Great, because after reviewing the 5-year plan, I only saw 2 little things about the community garden even mentioned in here, so if any of these.
I haven't forgot, so.
Oh, okay, I was just saying, if we're banking on this rec plan to help us get a community garden, I didn't see too much of it written in our rec plan.
Well, so I think we're moving forward with this one. So Sam Lasusa from the office here is gathering support from local entities. We got an email at my place of employment, and we said we would be a supporting partner. So that is moving forward for other grants.
Good,
Yeah,
that is very good.
just so you know. I
because-
don't know if he shared that, or if we.
Well, it's in the packet, the resolution of support's in the packet.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That'll be an upcoming
Sorry,
agenda item.
yeah.
And that's great, and then I think we're talking about also doing like a farmer's market and that, and personally, I think it'd be nice to have that wherever the community garden is going to be, but that could very well play into the factor with the community gardens, so might become a reality someday here.
Awesome. All right, anything else on community garden? All right, moving on. 8C, staff report. Sarah, do you have any?
We did receive an email that we did not get the trust fund grant for the warming hut the last time around. The supervisor, Beth, was at the meeting during that time and gave support for the project and also support for Brown Bridge that did get funded through that program. So while that was put in by the city and is city property, it is in East Bay Township, and it's a substantial amount of property that is going into the natural and park system for that. So we'll be evaluating and deciding how to move forward next year. As mentioned previously, the large trust fund project for next year will likely be the TART extension for construction. I did talk with Beth today about maybe looking at structuring the warming hut differently, or we may just need to go for a different grant opportunity. It's just not, the way the scoring rubric is, it doesn't score high, just based on the numbers that they have there, so we may need to go a different direction for the warming hut.
Okay. Thank you. All right, anything else on that?
Oh, and then we're going to be having the Holiday Woods Natural Areas Stakeholder Meeting in January. We were supposed to do it in December, but I got sick, so we had to reschedule it, so it got moved to January.
Okay, thank
Do you
you.
know the date?
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's an invite-only stakeholder meeting, so there's a couple, Corey and Ryan have volunteered to participate on behalf of the Parks Commission, and then we have different members, either from neighboring property owners or, like we have different individuals or groups that might use it. So either, like mountain bike, birders, kids programs, different things, and then, like I said, the neighboring property owners are a part of it. So they're gonna start kind of talking about ideas and concepts for the property, and then we'll go into a community survey, and then there'll be a community open house too. So they're just kind of getting the process started. So.
Thank you. All right, moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9A. We'll start the public hearing for the 5-year Parks and Rec Plan.
Do you want me to give a little background to it?
Yeah, if you want to give us a little background on.
So, okay, so, as the Parks Commission is familiar, but just for the public too, every 5 years, we need to update the Park and Rec Plan. This keeps us eligible for grants from the state, and that's why we go through this process, as well as to ensure that we're moving forward with our parks plan. So, we really started based on what the old plan had, especially for our action items and moving forward, and then we kind of added to that, to kind of be consistent throughout the process and to make sure we're completing our projects. The Parks Commission did a really good job the last 5 years of ticking off a lot of projects in there and moving items forward. But then we needed to add like Holiday Woodlands in, because that wasn't even contemplated during that plan. We added Jen's back in because that one was supposed to be done but didn't get completed, so some of those projects. The only written communication we've received is that email that you mentioned, Zach, and I don't know if you want to, just because I don't know if all the commissioners received it, if we want to read through it quickly, or if you,
Yeah,
the best way.
I can read through it. It's kind of a lot.
Unless you all want to take just a minute to like pull it up on your phone if you have your East Bay email, or, I don't have any way to print it, so. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, I
Is
can.
that perhaps her email that she,
Is this the one?
Is it Carol?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have copy?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that'll help. Thank you.
It was
Well-
too good to miss. She could not be here. Pretend I'm tall and svelte, and it's Carol Kuzel. This is
Yes.
her letter. It's well put. Yes, it's lengthy, and it's her thoughts. What she's accomplished in this letter is, if you can pass this up. I think I put
We have
it
one for
in
everybody?
kind of
Yeah.
order. What she's trying to do is.
That's my name.
What
done.
Carol is accomplishing in this letter is to use your words and then add suggestion. So I'm Carol Shukra, and I'm an East Bay citizen over at the corner of 4 Mile and Hammond. So as Zach's reading it, you'll have your study sheet there. Carol very much wanted to be here, and also she wished that this had arrived in time to get it to everybody, but in trying to contact you all directly, this is the best we're doing.
And that's fine. The Parks Commission, you can make changes at tonight's meeting, and you might want to do that. And what I'm thinking is you have the public hearing where you receive input, and then you kind of can close that and then move on to the next agenda item where you're talking about decision. And then we can go through if you want to implement some of these changes in there, or if there's any other changes. And then ultimately, you're forwarding this to the township board, so the township board can even make changes once they get it too. So.
Okay. This email was from you, Carol, or?
Carol Kuzel.
Okay.
is the one who-
Okay, I just want
These
clarification.
are her words,
Okay.
and now you have them in front of you.
All right, thank you.
Best we could do.
Yeah.
Mine went into spam from her. That's where it went, because I was like, it should have went to everybody because it has the PKS on here. That makes sense now.
Yeah, I wish I would have gotten this.
Yeah, it was
It's excellent.
later this afternoon, like 4:06 PM, so.
Like it, nicely put together.
Yeah, well, I read through it earlier. Looked like some good suggestions, examples.
Make it a bit more educational with the signage.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we do have signage plans to keep, all the signs got rebooted to be consistent. So like a signage template.
I think a lot of the upgrades were about ADA too, but this is more about like making it more educational, I guess. As far as telling you exactly what's there and how to use it at your house, which is cool.
Peachy states a source that was reasonably priced.
Killinger does have some educational ones.
At the very last.
Yeah, the Northwest Michigan Invasive Species District.
Good vendor for the signs.
The last word of their organizational name is network, not district.
Network.
How do we want to go forward with this? Discuss
Yeah.
each one, not discuss?
I think we should finish the public hearing and then
Yeah,
discuss.
then we can
Oh, yeah.
discuss on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think everyone got a chance to breeze through it, get an idea what the email was about. I guess move on. Do you like to stand up and?
Okay, enough, okay.
Good evening. My name is Ralph Bednars. I reside in East Bay Township on Rennie Lake, and I'm the current president of the Rennie Lake Association. Allow me to begin by thanking you for your service and applauding your voluntary service to this township. I have reviewed the draft Parks and Services 5-year plan, and I offer the following comments, which I trust you will take into consideration prior to any action tonight. First, I ask you to consider adding to the Parks and Recreation map on page 20 of the draft plan the recently announced Brown Bridge Quiet Area acquisition of part of the GoRec property and the Mueller Trust property that includes a substantial portion of Spring Lake. As stated by Glenn Chown, Grand Traverse Regional Land Conservancy Director, this addition, 528 acres, will create an extensive, more than 1,800-acre contiguous block of critical habitat while providing opportunities for passive recreation, safeguarding water quality, and I emphasize that, and preserving the area's scenic beauty. My second comment pertains to the vision and goal of East Bay Township and this commission. Quote, "Our long-term vision describes a community that exists in harmony with its outstanding natural setting." End quote. This draft plan states, and I quote, "Our highest priority among the many elements of our vision for the township is the care for and sustainable use of our unique and highly valued natural features. Balancing use and protection of the natural resources is the goal. Yet, the actions of this commission and the township do not always achieve this balance of use and protection. I will use the redevelopment of Arbutus Park Number 5 as an example. We have expressed our concerns over the past 3 years at all levels of review for this project. It's unfortunate that the township, the commissions, and board did not take Lakes Area Community recommendations seriously to create a park that balances lake protection with lake access. The township had an opportunity to showcase this project and be good stewards of the Lakes Area lakes by incorporating lake protection practices throughout the park redevelopment design and providing lake users and riparians educational opportunities at the park on best practices for lake shoreline and nearshore habitat protection. Instead, the park redevelopment design has cut corners and eliminated critical best practices, and park use will continue to negatively impact the ecology of Arbutus Lake Number 5 and the surrounding riparian properties. Additionally, the township is turning their backs to the Section 231 Forest Lake District zoning regulations at a time when they are soliciting comments or community input to the zoning update. I encourage you to incorporate low-impact development requirements in the draft plan and require best management practices and natural resources protection education in each of the township parks projects to achieve the desired balance of use and protection of the natural resources. Thank you for this opportunity to comment on the draft plan, and I'll leave a copy of my comments for the record. Who should I leave that?
You can leave them with me, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
I'd like a copy of that. We have no, I'll take a picture of it then. with my
We can
phone.
get-
We have no
yeah.
copies, no copy machine access?
Well, it is his public comment,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We
so
can
it'll
get,
be included in the minutes.
yeah.
Well, I still want a copy of it.
Well, we can get
Tonight.
Or we
it.
can ask
We c-
that tomorrow, they can scan it in and we'll send it out
We'll
to everybody.
have it
so they
attached
have
with
it.
our minutes. So, okay. All right, I don't think there's anyone else here for the public hearing, so we can go ahead and discuss on this.
Do you have to close the hearing, or do you
You
use
can just move on to the
discussion?
next agenda item.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
We don't want to have any discussion of
Well,
what we
decision
read?
is the next, oh.
Right.
Well, if the
Discussion and
decision is next, then we
Yeah,
will
we can-
discuss before we decide.
So we can either discuss now or move on to the next one and
If we're gonna be
discuss and
making-
then create a decision. So,
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to, come up, if there's anything we like and want to implement into this, we'd have to direct
Yeah.
that to
Well,
be
Ralph's
included.
right. I think we do need to put that Brown Bridge
I agree,
see
I
what
think
he
that's,
said.
Yeah.
that's,
in there.
I was trying to write it, couldn't say it.
yeah.
Yeah, there's the map on page 20, and then there's comments about Brown Bridge on page, something after that, 20,
Shortly after, well,
it's on page, I'll tell
How
you. where
close
it's
are
at.
they to
25.
making that happen, though?
I know, I mean, I'd rather put it in the narrative to say that they received a grant, blah, 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 and are working through the process versus putting it on the map, unless we,
Unless we worded
Hatch it
it as like
and-
anticipated.
right. Because I don't want to fully commit, because something, it's not bought.
Things happen.
Right.
is the majority of that property currently owned by the Conservancy? Or
Rotary.
Rotary. So could we add another color and say Rotary, or,
Yeah, we'll find a way to delineate it
yeah,
out.
because I do agree, it's,
I think it's important to mention it and that they did, since they received that grant. But kind of the timing of all of it to make it, so if something changes, it's not, everybody understands.
Then it also probably,
Are there any other comments that are in Carol's email that you're
I
not happy
find that-
with?
correct me if I'm wrong, but is Carol offering verbiage for the Parks Plan as well as suggestions? I'm just seeing it, so I haven't
Yeah.
really had time to digest.
To me, it looks like in number 1 at the top to add that green language onto that priority, and then she kind of has some examples, and then the trails and markers about educational, and then examples of way that could be done. Our plan doesn't talk, for example, with the signage, under the examples, we don't have a lot of that information already in there, so to me, it's more of an example, but if there's something that
Right.
you're like, yes, we need to do that, we can find a place in the plan to say that, but we didn't get specific into signage.
Right, I mean, we don't get detailed, this kind of specific indoor plan.
I
But I'm
think that,
seeing the examples as action steps to consider, which, when we do look at our new park signage, file that under the, signage recommendations. And then,
I think that a common theme between Carol's email and Ralph's statement is just putting that language into the beginning of the plan to kind of hold ourselves accountable to that responsible management. And so I think if we did
Well,
anything.
we gotta do it.
Well, right,
in there, we
well,
gotta
right,
do
but I,
it.
you know,
Right,
I think their
That seems to be
point
the
is that that
issue.
would be a way to hold us, responsible as well.
I like Carol's suggestion on changing the verbiage in the Parks Plan wording that addresses the desire to help promote citizen understanding of the natural elements of the parks, how those benefits, how those benefit the community, water quality, air purity, thriving native animal and plants, and ways that citizens may protect the parklands and those benefits. I think that's a great statement right there. I'd also like to invite, I will personally invite Carol when we do update all our signage. I think we're trying to get that done this year. That she be a part as a citizen to maybe help us create some of that signage.
Talk about the signage inside the parks for trail markings, or the actual signage at the entrance of the parks too?
I was thinking
Or
the stuff on the trails
educational.
is more-
Right,
Yeah.
for the markers and signage, because.
We're going through this in the county right now, and
Oh, okay.
I promise you, it's a hefty price tag.
Yeah, it
So,
is.
Are you using that vendor that they mentioned at the end?
no, but most,
well, we worked
I,
the previous board worked really hard to get universal signs so that all the signs look the same.
and I was on that committee.
Yes, you were.
And so I've been through it, and it is very tedious, but it can be done. So, yeah, I know it's probably very pricey, but we can, set some goals where we
I'm
want
not
to go
opposed
with
to
it.
doing anything with it, I'm just preparing us
Not
when we
doing signs
have that
today.
conversation.
I like her ideas of the clean boats, clean water. Yes, we should be a good advocate for that, especially because we are parks commissioners and we do care about our preserving our existing parks here and waters in East Bay. I like also the loon protection signage, the invasive plants, and yes, I totally agree with education, and that the community garden is going to be part of that education. It hasn't been set in stone, but we will most likely be, for community garden, having all organics, so we can help eliminate a lot of the pest controls that's in there, and that could be a perfect opportunity for native plantings also. And then, so yes, I would suggest that we do add her verbiage in there. I would also agree, again, I just got this and just listened to Ralph. I think it further needs to be dissected. We should add the Gorick property in with the Spring Lake. That should go in there, because I think that's pretty well, that was a given and a go. And further reading, I do agree with the comment that our long-term vision describes a community that exists in harmony with the outstanding natural setting. The draft plan states our highest priority among the many elements of our vision for the township is the care for and sustainable use of our unique and highly valued natural features. Balancing use with protection of the natural resource is the goal. Excellent. And if I look at this, again, just at a glance without, studying it, it's we need to practice what, if we're putting this in our rec plan, we need to practice what we preach, basically. And the protection, I think Ralph is wanting to protect, so am I. And I think Carol's letter also is protecting, and how are we doing to protect our resources? We're very blessed for East Bay Township to have so many inland lakes. So we need to, I'm suggesting somehow we get both of these in with this 5-year plan.
I just want to point out in Ralph's public comment here during the hearing, it insinuates that the county was kind of negligent in this, with the Arbutus 5, with the plans for, but, oh, sorry. But the thing is, we did include him in the conversation, and we did work with the professionals involved, and, we did, do our homework with that. So I just wanted to point out, we did hear the input, but, there's way more input from others that, that made that decision at, middle of the road for like the break wall and stuff like that. And, so I think it's important to emphasize that, we were open to hear the discussion. It just didn't, go the route that they had hoped,
Well, it's not about what they have hoped, but we as commissioners, we are here because we're elected by the community, and it's
That's
not
right.
per se our own personal information, but what you're hearing, what we are hearing out there of what is wanted. So we are the voice of those people.
And that's how we came up with that.
And the second issue is professionals. I sort of disagree, just because they're professionals, that when we're talking with Arbutus 5, that they know it. No, they don't. So I'm just saying, just because someone is a professional, they might, we might feel that they know it. But if you've done your research and you listen to the public, I think, yeah, some of that you have to take with a grain of salt. And you have to listen to those words from those professionals. I think so, or I'm pretty sure. Those kinds of comments is not a for sure thing. So as we all know, I am not happy with the way that Arbutus 5 went, from the shoreline to the pavement, to all of that. And yes, I went and did the Master Gardeners program, and they taught me a lot. And there are alternatives, and there's other parks out there doing that. So in that comment, I just want to add that with Arbutus 5, just because professionals came, they gave their engineering assessments, doesn't necessarily mean that they
Professionals with the state as well.
were 100% on that.
As someone who came on kind of late, I know Ally's probably in the same boat as me. Arbutus 5 was kind of a stamped project before we even got on the board. So I might ask dumb questions, and sorry if I do, but have the contractors had like fines from EGLE? Was
Keeping
there
in mind that we're not talking about Arbutus number
Right, I
5
was just
right
gonna
now,
say
could we
that.
stay on track and talk about the 5-year plan?
Well, we're talking about incorporating stormwater runoff.
Well, we're talking about language in our 5-year plan, and stormwater probably isn't language that we're going to use in the 5-year plan.
Ultimately, we need to come up with some language that holds us accountable to do the right things with our parks and take in the professionals' input, public's input, and help steer us into the right direction to do everything safely and environmentally friendly is what we need to be talking about.
Right, so are you looking at that as like a goal or an objective that's in your plan?
I'm looking at putting the words from Carol in our plan and asking Carol to please come when we go to do signage, to please come and
Okay,
be part
but
of
we're
that.
talking about
Carol's
the
verbiage
accountable,
is
not
going into the
Carol's.
objective.
Yeah.
Right,
we need-
I'm done with Carol's, I'm
Okay.
past Carol's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on
and
Ralph's.
With Ralph's, I would like to incorporate some of what he was saying in there, that as being our values and goals. At least I feel it is my values and goals, that we need to look at that and make some changes.
Okay, so then I can put that into the goals. What specific type of language are you looking for that? I mean, did he propose language in there for what it should say in his letter?
Ralph, would you like
Well,
to
I can-
bring that up? Go ahead. I haven't,
I don't think he did, but he did touch on the idea of best practices. And I don't know if there's anything specific in our goals that say,
balancing
That-
usage and protection.
Best practices in following the zoning ordinances within the township.
okay,
what-
so I think he's moving or beyond just zoning ordinances and into.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I don't know how we would want to
Best practices, I guess.
frame that.
But best practices in,
Just the ethical, just using,
but I
I
mean,
mean-
like, I'm trying, like, you're talking about environmental best
Yeah.
practices, right?
that's where I think Ralph's
what-
coming from, is
Okay.
environmental.
Differing opinions as to
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's where the Parks Commission has to do their best and take in professional, public input to come up with.
And do we feel that the language in the 5-year plan doesn't reflect our desires to make sure we're doing our due diligence? Is that what we're hearing from the public?
That's my analysis of what we're hearing from the public.
But we don't know if we weren't here.
We're talking, it's right here in
It's-
front of us.
yeah.
It's right here.
I know, I'm just trying
It's
to
right
get a
here.
little background.
We don't need to go back, we need to go forward.
Gentleman took his time, I just wanted to make sure.
No,
we understand.
yeah,
What do you-
I know, no,
what do you
Ralph
think is
has,
okay?
Ralph is smarter than me, so.
So I'm going to add into the goals about environmental best practices at, as possible with guidance from our professionals in some way.
As possible? No. Try
Well-
to scratch that word, but
Okay,
Where,
What you looking for?
I don't know. I'll know it when I see it. It's just,
is it related to this, or is it something else?
well, she's taken she's taken language,
Who's she?
Who's she?
Carol.
Oh,
I'm just
Carol's
trying-
comments are all on page
I-
38.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, did you have
Yes.
any objections of what Carol had? Because we could just
Um,
move to incorporate that into the master plan,
Right.
as long as there's no
Well, are we
objections of
gonna-
anything she had stated. I think,
The only revision that I have to Carol's is replacing the word citizen with resident,
Right.
but other than that,
And actually, I would put
Oh, and-
public, I wouldn't even put resident,
Yeah.
because everybody uses your parks.
you know,
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
unless you want to be specific.
She wrote the desire to help promote citizen understanding of natural elements. I wrote, I kind of changed it, the desire to provide spaces for citizens' understanding. It's not our job to educate.
Hmm?
It's our job to make the space available.
well, no, I mean, I think
No, no.
certain things to educate, like the moving boats in and out of waters and washing them off. I mean, that's a very good example right there. Like,
Well, but something like that, doesn't Eagle come in and do those automatically when they redo, like, the launches, don't they? Isn't that part of their
Absolutely not.
procedure? You don't think that's part of their new procedures?
absolutely not.
Because they're thinking about our kayak launch.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think they provide any signage like that, but they might have like a template that you can, adopt into your park system and, have it developed. I'm not sure, but, I think that would be, worth noting to keep the education component in there.
Agree.
And plus, the community garden will have education components because, I mean, we've incorporated the schools into it, so.
And to learn to understand and protect. Sorry, I don't have an end to that.
Well, I know we have to come up with, because we have to essentially choose the changes we want made so we can approve it, so it can move forward to the trustees. Unless, I mean, the trustees is the highest board that it needs to be approved by, so, I mean, we could suggest edits to be made for it, but we want to be able to see it before it goes to the trustees.
Right, unless you had a special meeting like right after the new year or something.
But, I mean, essentially, it's just the trustees that need to approve it. So, I mean, if we wanted to explore, I mean, I think it'd be important to point out the topics for whoever's going to be updating this, which I believe would be you. So it'd be important to, you know, highlight those marks, and so you have the clarity you need to make those edits before the board.
Doing it here, right tonight. Can I look at this?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is we have to have that so
Right.
she knows what to do.
Typically, the township board is just going to approve what we approve. So we need to make it tonight, make those changes or add to what we want to do. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page. We want to address the changes that need to be made today,
Yep.
but that, we're not going to physically see those changes made before we leave the meeting today. But we're going to, you know, trust that those changes will be made
How
into
about
the
this? How
agreement.
about if we have a special meeting, just to go over the final? We could do that.
When are our deadlines?
Well, the board meeting is January 8th. You would need to have a meeting on the 2nd so that you could get it into their packet on the 8th, essentially. I can't come to a meeting the night of the 2nd, but
When do they have to approve it by?
the end of January,
Yeah, because it has to be submitted by February 1st.
right?
Right, thank you, that's what I wanted to know.
To be eligible to apply for the grants.
Right, this next round of grants.
It's a Tuesday. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if we make the choices of what we want the edits to be, you update it, you send it to us, and if the edits are not what we want to see, then we could call it the special meeting.
Do that.
Okay.
What's the procedure for the special meetings for the township?
I think Zach can just call a special meeting, so.
Oh, it doesn't need like multiple people?
Nope, I think as the chair he can, so,
It needs us.
Well, yeah, we'd have to show
Right.
up. but-
right, you'd have to show
What are our
up.
goals?
but-
Our goals are, and correct me if I'm wrong, our goals are to make sure that our five-year plan language states our intention to, what?
For the,
To make it known that the township appreciates and protects the land, as well as providing space for recreation. But I don't know.
So we're looking at creating, so use, yes, we're building parks for people to use, but we also want to build parks to preserve natural spaces, to give people opportunities to.
Learn about natural spaces. So I think that we have two good objectives here on page 38, and I think if we add a third one, based mostly on Carol and Ralph's comments about education and environmental protection, unless we think those are two separate of topics that shouldn't be lumped together.
Well, a lot of the educational parts was about like using native plants in your yard and things like that, so I would say it's educating for protection.
Yeah.
I think it's the same goal.
can we include
Yeah,
some
yeah, I think so, too.
examples under number 5? Like that,
Number 5,
on
Oh, yeah, from Carol's
Oh.
the
letter.
goals and objectives.
Yeah.
Can we like put a couple examples from Carol?
Yeah.
Kind of an
I already
idea.
have enough to
Okay.
do that, yeah.
So that kind of takes care of part of that email.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you're trying to?
Yeah, so we're trying to give Sarah direction on what changes we want and where we want them made. So based off Carol's email, that we all have, we can put in a couple of her examples and some verbiage into number 5 under trail maps, markers, and signs.
On page 39.
On page-
Promotes the use of educational sustainability. Okay.
So I mean, number 5 just says a consistent theme for all signage needs to be completed. Trails should be marked as they are developed for ease of use. And we can elaborate about signage for, educational awareness,
Or signage to help enhance parklands. The last time I sat through a 5-year park plan, we were intentionally creating vague language so that if a project came up, we could say, actually, this fits really well under this one sentence right here in our, and I'm thinking specifically of like the dog park. Like, we didn't have a place for a dog park. Dog park was on our radar, but we didn't know what to do with. And so like, with the Hammond, we were like, oh, and maybe in the Hammond Park. So when you write it, if it's a little abstract, then we can kind of use.
well, it's where we
When
can
we have a
incorporate.
concrete thought, then we can tuck it under and say, well, we didn't have details, but we had the action.
Kind of a direction.
How about this? Under goals and objectives, or goals or objectives, somewhere in there. I'm just shooting out ideas to add from Carol. As part of our goal, the desire to help promote citizen understanding of the natural elements of the parks, how those benefits the community, water quality, air, thriving native animal and plants, in ways that citizens may protect the parklands and those benefits. And then go into our long-term vision describes a community that exists in harmony with its understanding natural setting. Our highest priority among the many elements of our vision for the township is the care for and sustainable use of our unique and highly valued natural features. Balancing use with protection of the natural resources is the goal. I think
That's a great,
I think
I'd agree with that.
those two together to mesh in here or get rid of something that we have already in, under the goals.
The goal is the first half of that paragraph. The only addition's the last sentence that you read.
Okay.
There might be a word or two in there that's in addition to that goal.
I liked how it was
Paragraph.
worded, though, from Ralph.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's where I would add his
Just
comment
as-
I
too.
don't see Ralph, so I don't.
Just as point blank, do you want me to reread it again?
Passing
And
around
maybe
what-
just go and put Ralph's statement in there, and then marry with Carol's desire to help promote citizen understanding of natural elements of the parks. I think that's perfect. And her whole green sentence, what she stated in her letter, could also be put in there as maybe an objective.
Oh, I thought you already
Well, I
were putting
s-
that as an objective.
I was, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so is that a given then? What she said in green, to put that under objective?
I thought everybody agreed that her comments that were in her letter were all getting incorporated in. Yeah, they'd be.
You mean under
into-
section 1?
Right, as an objective, and then the trails markers would be under 5 on page 39.
And
Okay.
then maybe for the goal, just to kind of like include like not these new things, but promoting responsible environmental stewardship, everything that we do, we'll take that into consideration. And I think that would be a good, it's specific enough, but it is also kind of, as Corey mentioned, vague enough because we don't know what's going to happen and where we're going to go. But I think it's a good guiding principle.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to reword it a little bit to make that more prominent, maybe. But
All right, so Carol's done, so to speak. and then-
Carol's is added under the objective, right? This will be the
Right.
third bullet point under the objective.
And then we're going to use some for examples there
Yep.
on page 39.
Yes.
Okay, and then back to Ralph's, that whole paragraph that I read out loud, but using his
So
words.
that's what I was kind of trying to, okay, you want to use some
But
of
use
his words
his
too?
words. I
Okay.
mean, it's there.
As
guys-
part of, as
I'm-
a second paragraph on the goal, is that what you're
I
talking
think
about?
it's like to reword that paragraph.
To reword it entirely?
Yeah, because a lot of those words are already there in that paragraph.
Let's make sure that whatever we're changing is in line with what he's saying.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He is here, so we could ask him.
We can ask him. The goal, okay.
I'm just
Changing
saying,
the goal.
just,
Read that
adding to
paragraph
the
and
goal.
see
Right.
if it makes sense to be a goal.
At our goal.
Will you read his aloud again?
Garrison, you've got it there.
At the
As
end of these
compared to what?
recommendations, It's encouraged to incorporate low-impact development requirements in the draft plan and require best management practices in natural resources protection and education in each of the parks. To get that desired balance of protection and access.
Yeah.
no,
there's a
what
different
I
paragraph.
read.
I was
Oh, I
just saying,
Ralph.
that's not
Is it
what-
on-
Something about our highest priority among the elements, vision for the township to care for, or something.
For the township is the care for.
Our
the
long-term
sus-
vision describes a community that exists in harmony with its outstanding natural setting. Our highest priority among the many elements of our vision for the township is the care for and sustainable use of our unique and highly valued natural features. Balancing use with protection of natural resources is the goal.
So
Right,
Ralph
so-
took that goal paragraph
Yes.
and added to
There's
it.
Balancing
sentence at
use
the
of-
beginning and a
Yes.
sentence at the end.
So it's a lot of the same words, he just added
Yeah.
his words to it.
Does anybody have a problem with making that the goal? That paragraph you
It
just read?
sounds great.
I'm-
I think it's a good goal.
I'm
I think
slower
it's-
than the rest of you, and I'm not sure where you're getting these.
It's like the middle of the first page, right? What paragraph number is that on the first page?
Paragraph 4, technically.
Of ours,
Of
Ralph's.
Ralph's letter.
Ralph's.
of Ralph's letter.
Our
Paragraph
goal
4.
is on bottom of page 38.
Oh,
of
okay,
Ralph.
okay, found it. In parentheses.
I would use Ralph's words. It's clear, I guess. It's not so
It's,
vague.
Okay, versus.
I think it would be a
Do you
good.
want to give that
Getting
to
there,
Corey?
guys.
Corey, do you want to see where it is?
Wait, can I see
I got
Ralph's
it, I
again?
got it
There was
here.
another statement in there that I kind of liked.
So there's what
That's
we're
the first
talking
one.
about.
Yeah, but Garrison read something. Oh.
Careful. Features. Balancing use
I think
with the protection of natural.
Can I
Of
ask-
course it is.
we're all
clarify something
in
here?
agreement, aren't we? Except Corey was trying to figure out what we were talking about.
Yes, it took me a really long time, I
Okay,
apologize.
so are we all on the same page of
Yeah.
just using his verbiage, Ralph's verbiage for the goals?
Yeah, but you're only adding one sentence.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's where Sarah was
Well,
saying.
okay. Whatever
there's a
he has
sentence
in
at
that
the
paragraph,
beginning.
I think
the
it's a
wording
good
is a little
summary
bit different.
sentence.
You could also include the
I have a
low-impact
question about
development.
something else that Ralph said. Can I ask him to clarify a point?
Yeah,
Less is
Okay.
more.
if he's willing
He
to.
has to come to the.
Okay, okay. Ralph, I do have a clarifying question on one of your sentences, if you don't mind.
Beginning and then the last sentence. Everything else is already there.
Can I see this?
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. On the second page here, I encourage you to incorporate low-impact development requirements, the draft plan, and require best management practices. So are you looking for a statement in the plan that says every project moving forward from now on, or that's included in this, must include those items?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can really directly answer that, but let me go back to my first page, since you're looking at the goals. So the first quote in the fourth paragraph of my comments is taken directly out of the township master plan. That's your vision.
Yeah.
The second quote is right out of your draft plan as your goal. But then balancing use and protection of the natural resource should be the overarching goal. That should be the result,
Yeah.
all right? And I gave you the example of where it failed.
That you think it failed.
It has failed.
You think it failed, that's your opinion.
I don't know if we're supposed to have a discourse like this, but in a public hearing, but let me address something that I heard from, I'm sorry, it's Commissioner Walsh. So you made a comment about listening to our professionals. And your professional basically is your township engineer. That's who drafted the
Well, we were working-
engineering part of that plan. Now, for those that don't know me, I'm a professional limnologist, a lake scientist. I'm retired, but I had a 38-year career with the state, with DEQ, which is now Eagle, managing our inland lake resources. So I'm a professional. So there's different levels of professionals and different understanding of what about the resource.
So what I'm saying, Ralph, is we were working with the DEQ as well. And,
It was approved.
It was actually Eagle, DEQ is no longer in existence.
When the plan started, it was probably DEQ.
I don't know, the plan started,
So.
Before my
and
time,
for the
too.
new people, This has been a 3 or 4 year project, and I've presented PowerPoint presentations on what best practices are. So those are in your archives. You can certainly go to review those as professional information. But anyway, so back to your question. So that's the goal part of this. The best management practices are exactly what needs to be incorporated into these type of projects to protect the resource.
And are you
And they should
wanting,
go forward with low impact.
are you wanting a statement in the parks plan saying as such? Or are you just saying this
No,
needs to be
I
incorporated?
think it should be in that plan.
Okay, that was what I was
Then
looking
Then
for.
it's your responsibility to adhere to that.
Right, that's the
You need to
clarification
adhere
I
to
was
your
looking
vision, your
for.
goals and the requirements for protection,
Yeah,
not just the requirements for use.
right.
And so you need to think about the people, the people's use, but you also need to think about what does the lake and what does the resource need? And that's the balance. And I'll just leave it as that, but if you have other questions, please feel free.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
Where would you add that then?
Yep, thank you.
Well, I had to see if that's what he was looking for, but I don't know. I'd have to think about where to put that, 'cause I don't know. I've never done this before.
I am uncomfortable with putting that into the language.
Wait, putting what?
Low
Just the
impact
best man-
development
low
and best
impact
medic
development?
practices
He-
into
yeah,
it,
he's- yeah.
because that is not clearly defined. What that looks like today is going to look different in 5 years from now, and what that looks like to some people is going to look different for other people.
I mean, ultimately, our goal is to do what's best. And each project's going to be different, from a lakeside project to, say, the water tower property. Low impact would differ from all that. So I think making the goal, wording the goal properly, to take all that into consideration without putting specific.
Balancing youth with
Right.
protection of natural resources is the goal. I think that's a glorious statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Say that again?
What
It's
Ralph said is
Ralph.
glorious. Balancing youth with protection of natural resources is the goal, yes. But we don't, that's constantly changing. For the better, I hope.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can allude to that without,
But I think we're good, I think what we have is
Yeah,
good.
We are adding that to the
Yeah.
goal paragraph, the first paragraph on goals. Well, the only paragraph, unless we're doing a second one. That sentence is being added to the end.
I
correct?
think I think she's talking about like the rigidity of the other two items from the
Right,
second page of
that's,
his
those
letter.
two I don't think are necessary in the plan.
I started, I just.
But what are they? What are best practices?
They are gonna change, but they're gonna get better. That's how best practices work. They improve as we learn more and have better technologies.
And to be honest with you, low-impact development, I mean, I would think that, of course, I don't know with the planning commission, but But I do think that we should incorporate that we use best management practices and natural resources, protection, education in the parks projects to achieve the desired balance of use and protection of the natural resources. I believe in that. And I don't have a problem putting that in
Wanna make a motion?
as a Parks Commissioner.
As another sentence on the goals?
Um,
I think.
We can figure out where to put that, but,
Because where else?
and actually, I mean, if we look at the Holiday Hills projects, even if we do the Pines, aren't we, if we listen to the public, we're looking for low-impact development. I think we were all, well, most of us were here for the open house, and what the public was looking for. So I don't have a problem with low-impact development requirements that draft the plan and require best management practices, because those do sort of go right-handed, and also, and natural resource protection.
Can you read the goal paragraph that you're suggesting from Ralph to be included?
Wondering if
Wait.
that paragraph that she just read would make a better objective.
Okay.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
we need to incorporate not
Yeah.
only, we already talked about
I agree.
approving.
Objective.
Yeah,
Number
I
four,
just
just
wanted
make
For
to.
that
sure,
paragraph
under
number
goals.
four.
I
Now we're
wanted to-
talking about something
The
separate.
objective, okay. I just
Yeah.
wanted to hear the paragraph again,
Which one?
the goal
The
one.
goal is gonna be simple, right?
Yeah.
You're just adding the one sentence.
I just wanted to hear,
Balance,
Oh,
whatever.
okay,
Yeah.
you want me to read how
yeah,
Ralph's?
I don't have it in front
Balancing
of
use
me.
and protection of our natural resources, that's the only sentence we're adding at the end of the goal.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
balancing use and protection is the
Yeah.
whole version.
And then
Yeah.
what Susan was just
Then
talking
our,
about.
going to our
Is a
objective,
potential
Yes,
fourth
is a
objective.
potential fourth objective.
Yeah.
stating,
Oh,
The low-impact development and best
Yeah.
management practices.
There you go, to include
Wait, I
low-impact
thought number
development.
four was coming from different public comment.
Carol's is number 3.
Currently, we only have 2.
yeah.
Correct.
So we're adding Carol's and now.
Carol's is 3,
Ralph's.
and Ralph's would be 4.
Yeah.
And read that sentence again?
Okay, incorporate low-impact development and require best management practices and natural resources protection, education in the parks projects to enhance the desired balance of use and protection of the natural resources. I sort of cut out some of his words there.
Do we need?
They're just not defined, and it's not a deal breaker, but moving forward, if we put that language in there, my idea of low impact and best management are going to be completely different from somebody else's. And that's what gives me pause for future agreements, future.
Each project
me,
that we
yeah.
discuss and work on comes in front of this board on numerous occasions.
Right.
So including the public is the best practice.
Yes, it is, Ryan. So I don't have a problem with putting in Ralph's words of, to incorporate low-impact development requirements, because that's pretty much where we're all going to headed anyways, and if not, the public is looking for that. Requirements in the draft plan, we don't need that in there, but, and best management practices. Natural resources, protection, education in the parks to achieve the desired balance of use and protection of natural resources.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's perfect. We just need to know where we want to put that in.
Under an
That was the
objective.
fourth
It would be another
Okay.
objective.
But you've got balance of use and protection of natural resources in both the goal and the objective? Right?
No, because like the sentence it's adding on to the back is
Yeah,
like,
that's what I-
oh, no, you're
yes,
right, oh, you
this
wrote it
one.
down.
Yeah, because
Oh,
she
oh,
said
oh.
it twice. She said at the
Well, we
end
don't
of-
need it. I think that that's, the balance is better as like a goal.
Part of the goal.
Than as the objective. So we can just,
Right. And I think it's a lot, like a broad objective, so Corey, when we get to certain projects, you can disagree with what low-impact development means.
So Sarah, can you read that back, how the verbiage will be on that then?
You just did.
You just did, that's why I said you got balancing use and protection in there twice.
It might take twice for us to.
Right, yeah, that's the last thing. To incorporate low-impact development requirements and require best management practices and natural protection, education in each of the township's parks project to achieve the desired balance of use and protection of the natural resources. So you're saying take out that desired
Okay,
balance?
can we maybe, instead of saying to achieve, and then those same words again, to achieve the goals
Yeah,
of
I think that
the
makes
Parks
sense.
Plan?
Yep,
There you go.
And then it references back to that.
yep.
Where we've already added that verbiage.
Are we happy with that?
Happy.
I just have one more thing. So in the objective 2, can't we just say ethically maintain and enhance the existing park system while adding property to the system that provides opportunity to protect vulnerable lands and, or add additional experiences? Like, can't we just add,
I don't.
Just-
Using the word ethical, then I think that goes back to the same
I
problem.
mean, ethical practices. There's ethics in every, I just
Just because then like people's.
Without
ideas of
getting
what is
too-
Ethical is going to be different
Right,
too.
yeah, that's a.
I like where
fine
you're
line
going with
word.
it.
I just was trying to, one word could, because business ethics, engineering ethics, nature, like,
Well, even,
It's a fine
even
line,
like
yeah.
natural resources management ethics, people have a lot of different opinions about that.
yeah, that just was my idea to, because we kind of feel like in that objective cover a lot of those things, but adding one word, the commission ethically needs to do these things.
I'm going to bring this back up that I mentioned earlier, but the idea of being an environmental steward or some phrase similar to that, that does imply like a good, ethical, and responsible use of the spaces, if people like it.
I think we had it, the way we had it,
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
that's
Yeah.
good.
If anyone else wants to, that's fine too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we can do it 100 different ways.
Right.
If we just-
You're gonna read what I write, and then you're gonna be like, no.
Yeah. So, I think we're come to a consensus here. We're finally,
Perfect.
added things from public.
I need to make a change on page 14 to,
Is that where Lake Huron is spelled wrong?
oh, no.
That is on page, it's the one with the map of all the, page 7.
Huron.
Some state documents.
Got a little T there instead of an R.
You should take out the,
Oh, I was like, what, how is Lake Huron even in this plan? Like, that's the other side of the state. Huron.
Second and Raiders.
Down.
There you go.
Perfect. I'll change that. Thanks, that's a good catch.
Well, we not see it for the whole first read.
Yeah.
See, professionals can make mistakes too.
We're all human, we all make mistakes. At the bottom of page 14, it's kind of backwards. It talks about Holiday Woodlands Natural Area. It says it's contracted with the township to maintain the trails at Mount Holiday Ski Resort. It's kind of the other way around. We contract with
Right.
Mount Holiday to maintain our trails on Holiday Woodlands. So I'm just gonna switch that around.
Okay.
Did anybody else have any other changes that we need to make?
Not that I know of.
So included in your packet, although they're in the wrong order, there isn't a resolution for adoption for you. It's the one, it's a resolution, it doesn't include any logo on the top of it. It says East Bay Township Resolution for Adoption of the East Bay Township 2024 Park and Rec Master Plan. I think it's one of the last pages in the printed packet that you have. So you would just adopt that resolution with the corrections we made tonight, essentially is what we're talking.
So do we want to then hold a special meeting to see those changes?
It's up to
Didn't we pretty much
Well-
agree upon the changes, so couldn't you just email them to us?
Yeah, are we allowed to approve?
But
Well, we can approve them with the changes, and if there's or we can send a,
Can I maybe recommend that we identify some dates for a special meeting? That way, once we see the final draft, and if there's concern, we can call it, and we would know exactly what days.
I mean, I guess I'm concerned you can't really adopt this resolution and then call it back to make changes. So you either need to not
I guess-
adopt the resolution and schedule a special meeting, or adopt the resolution. I mean, I can send it out to you for you
So
to
what-
take a look at
what
it.
could the changes possibly be? A couple words that we
Well, the
want to
verbiage,
change?
and the verbiage
Yeah,
is pretty important, because
Yeah.
if
It's really
I'm saying
important.
to vote on this tonight and not see those changes, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm sorry, but I don't.
no, do we,
Oh, and a special meeting
It's a 5-year plan. I mean, it isn't,
yeah,
doesn't have to
I
be long.
was going to say, the only other opportunity would be to,
we could have a.
you know, make suggestions of changes at the Board of Trustees
Correct.
meeting,
Right.
that-
but we'd have to be kind of
be
on the same
anyway, and
page.
It's ridiculous to do that. I'm sorry, Ryan. How about if we look to have a special meeting? I mean,
If Sarah sends us the updated copy and there's no issues, could we not e-sign it? Is that not an option?
You can't do that.
no.
No,
Give it 5 years.
I'm suggesting that we,
It's
you
too
know,
bad they didn't
Sarah,
have virtual
I don't
meetings.
know your schedule. Do you, you know, can we have a special meeting without you?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Right, because the first night I have available is January 4th, and that's too late for the board packet, so, unless it's during the day. But,
So based on what you said earlier, it would have to be the second, like no
yeah,
later than?
I mean, I guess the second would be the very last you could have it. You're welcome to have a meeting between Christmas and New Year's. The office is the office is open Wednesday and Thursday that week, if you want to have a meeting on one of those days.
So what'd you say, Wednesday at 27, 28?
Right, or the second would have to be the night you would have to do that.
Or the second?
Right. I'll have a plan to you by the end of business on Thursday, because I'm off until after the first of the year, so you can,
Thursday.
Yeah.
Do what
I'm
you'd like to do.
I'm gone until after New Year's, so.
Out of town?
do that.
yeah. I mean, I guess the conversation should be, is there a majority that feels like they want to approve it based on what the discussion was, or is it a majority that wants to have the meeting?
I feel that we provided proper guidance based off the email and Ralph providing his comments, and we gave Sarah the proper information to properly place those changes into our document. The only thing I could think of is a word or two that someone might want to change, but I feel like we ultimately gave Sarah the guidance to properly, you know.
I don't see
we
Sarah
s-
putting "not" right in front of everything.
Well,
But if,
I just have a hard time approving something that we made changes to and we don't
Well,
really
let's
see it.
vote and
It's
see what
just
happens.
Right.
How I feel. We could have a special meeting to cover it. I mean, she's going to be gone the end of this week, right? You would have it done.
well, my concern with the special meeting is that, you know, things happen, and that's on the January 2nd, and if we miss that, we miss the opportunity to approve. And then it just goes directly to the trustees.
And they-
Or maybe if we don't get a quorum, because it's around the holidays too. Like, that's my only concern. I'm not against it. You know, I'd actually kind of prefer it, but I also trust Sarah to make the changes too, and I don't think any of the changes are significant enough where it would impact anything that couldn't be changed in the next year. Because it sounds like you have to have this in February 1st. And, you know, we're going to be applying for, the first grant applying for is going to be when?
It's due April 1st,
Is that the TART Trail one?
right?
Okay.
Yeah, for the trust fund. Yeah.
What,
Should we, you've been taking notes, you've been editing the plan here
I
on
was
your,
gonna say, yeah,
on
can
your
you read it
laptop.
out loud?
Should we do one last time of you reading what our,
I was just making notes referencing to either one of the emails. to
oh,
do
I
it.
thought you were
No.
like typing into your draft right
No.
while we were talking.
No,
Okay.
I don't have a final one that I could read you right at the moment.
We're adding. I
We
know
pretty
it's
much-
100 times, but under goal, adding the balance of use and protection, that was the main.
Yep.
Or else you just add another sentence. Objectives, 3 would be added for Carol's.
Carol.
About
Do
information
we-
signage, 4 for using best practices on impact.
Right.
All on the same page? If
Well,
that's the
we're-
changes, I'm
okay.
okay to vote and approve today.
Okay. Were we
What were we
making
gonna say?
changes to Carol's? Or
Language?
did we all just agree to that first? The desire to help promote citizen understanding of the natural elements of the parks, how those benefit the community, water quality, air purity, thriving native and animal and plants, and ways that citizens may protect the parklands and those benefits. Are we keeping her words verbatim? Or I know that Corey expressed, or somebody expressed,
We're
change
switching
resident to citizen.
Citizen to the
to-
public.
Yeah, you know what I
That's what
mean?
Sarah
Did we
said.
agree upon those specific words?
Did we need to change anything other than the word citizen?
I think it all sounded great with changing resident to citizen, as all citizens use the park, not just our
So
residents.
then, she has citizens, so then we wouldn't
She has
change it to
citizen, so,
resident.
well, I suggested resident, and then Sarah said the
Yeah.
public, because that does
Oh.
make sense, because members of the public that are not East Bay Township residents
yes.
use the space.
I'd like to see the final, just because we're still going around with what we all agreed on.
I think we're just confirming,
What it was?
yeah, which, that sounded good. I think Sarah's got that documented.
So if this is something that we're comfortable with, you know, all we would need is a motion and a support behind it. I'm inclined to vote in favor to move it forward, you know, with those changes. And then, you know, if the changes go against, you know, we'll have to show up at the
Town board.
trustee
Township
meeting.
trustee meeting.
So is that a motion?
I move to approve the additions, Sarah, and we can approve the 5-year plans.
All right. Motion by Walsh, second by Reardon, to approve the resolution for adoption of the East Bay Township 2024 Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And we need to do a roll call vote, or
With the changes that we
With the
discussed.
changes.
with the changes.
Yep. Yeah, roll call.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do roll call.
All right. Susan, could you lead us in roll call vote?
And so what's abstain?
You can't abstain, you have to vote.
Why is it on there then?
If you had a conflict.
Thank you.
All right, Welsh,
Yes.
Layton,
No.
Reardon,
Yes.
Petmer,
Yes?
Andres,
Yes.
Jazinski,
Yes.
LaRose. I can't approve something that I haven't seen the changes, so that's the reason why I'm saying no.
All right. I think the motion passes.
How come it says Welsh as chair? Shouldn't it be your name in there?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a.
Probably, I need to
ty-
update
there
some
was
of
a
that.
typo,
Yep.
so.
Okay. I was gonna steal the conversation. I'll let you get to the next agenda item, then I'll start talking.
Okay, so Sarah, you're going to still have the changes emailed to us then?
Just you and Larry?
Or what?
The draft, but
Yes.
like that goes, that'll go to the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can email it to you.
By the end of the week, because you're leaving, or you're off, whatever. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to impose a deadline on you.
No, that would be,
I kind of thought you said, that unless you're talking about something else.
no, I was talking about that for a special meeting.
Oh.
At the end of this week,
Right.
because
I think everybody's gonna be out of
make
town.
sure that,
Right. It'll be either be that or it'll be the second when I send the memo to the board, all of that
Oh,
forward to the
gotcha.
board.
Okay.
I guess the biggest thing will be, my GIS guy's got to put that parcel in and all that too, so that, I don't know what his schedule looks like, so. Yes, I will send it out to you, so you have the final draft.
by the end of the week?
But Thursday.
If my GIS guy can get the map done by the end of the week.
Oh, the map
Of
of
the,
Rockbridge?
the
Yeah.
spelling of the,
Huron, and the adding that parcel for Brown Bridge in, the new acreage, to that other map. Will have to be in there too, so.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, moving on, business before the Parks Commission, 9C, resolution of support for MDARD grant.
So I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, maybe not, but Sam is our CEDAM fellow. He's working on a grant, an MDARD grant, to start up a farmer's market in combination with the community garden. So farmer's market kind of in the parking lot here, and then the community garden. Looking to, did he put a dollar amount in here? Nope. The grant would be for $100,000, and then there's $30,000 match is what we are going to be putting in for that. So the $30,000 would go towards the farmer's market, and then we're looking to take the $100,000 to start construction on some part of the community garden. So working right now with Tim on how he can break up phase one to get to that $100,000, essentially right now, so.
is that
be
the
able to-
same grant that Ally was talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I think
No.
this is a different one.
This is
Okay.
different.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know, do we get any information on the MDARD?
Probably not a handout or anything. This has to do with, because Sam is a CEDAM fellow and somehow it's through CEDAM started it, and I don't know all of the details to how we got here, but, essentially it's, they're looking for, it has to do with food insecurities, this is the kind of the basis it's under. And so putting it into that.
It would have been nice to
Do you
hear
want
about
to
it.
hear the
Yes.
email? Hold on, let me just.
When is this due?
It's due like the 8th or the 9th of January.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want
Yes,
me to read this?
like a month.
Or do you want to just, this is the email that he sent out to community partners.
Right.
Well, no, so he sent this to the info email
Is it a
at the district,
recurring
which is why
grant?
I had it, so I tried to.
I don't know the details of that.
Because this is the first time.
As an employee,
Yeah, right.
Was it discussed in the planning commission?
but that's what it is. That's what he said, yeah. So
I don't
that's
know
got
that it
some
was.
context.
Just
How come Sam didn't get a hold of all of us, I wonder? The
Well, he
Parks
was-
Commission. I mean, it'd be nice to know about it. I mean, and back it. guess.
Well, I think you received that because he was looking
I
for
was-
support
yeah,
from
from the
your
community.
organization that you work on.
Yeah, yeah, I get
Right.
that.
I mean, I guess I didn't realize that you needed a bunch of details about the grant for it. This is, you're providing support, and then the board, if receiving it, will accept the award of the grant.
So
for
I
it.
think us talking about it now is the same as that email that I got. It's the same thing, just in a different format.
Yeah, as many grants as we can get, it'd be nice to know what they are. I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
we have to do a
essentially,
resolution.
Sam's,
Giving you money for your garden.
Yes.
And we
yes.
did get this handout.
Why would we
in,
not?
Sorry, I'm very skeptical about it.
You're picking holes in something that you want.
so essentially the
Were you here
township,
in October? That's when we got this handout. That's all, which is the same one.
so
This-
Is it, that's the one?
This is the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
So it
Which
is the
one it
same
was?
one then.
So we were notified about this at a previous meeting. I think it was just, hey, they're looking into this.
Right.
it might be happening, and now it's happening.
So it is the same one?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I thought it was a different one, but.
But that was not one that Ally had mentioned, that was just a
No,
paper that
that's
was on
different.
your
Mine was a
desk.
USDA one, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I have, USDA.
USDA. So
Yes,
this is
I'm
the state of
sorry.
Michigan.
Yes.
This is
Okay.
totally different.
No, I have
Very different.
MDAR and USDA as two different grants.
Right, yes. Ally had mentioned the one, and the other one was mentioned,
I think that's probably one I might have been talking about.
maybe.
I think I have some grant info from the USDA.
I'm all for
But we're working on the MDARD.
The MDARD one,
Got,
not the USDA.
okay.
So essentially, Sam has been working behind the scenes to find potential ways to get grant funding for the community garden.
Correct.
Or
And
for
now it is
anything.
being presented in front of the Parks Commission Board and being made aware that
We would like to apply.
we'd like to apply and move forward with.
Do we need a motion?
I would move to support.
Wait, can I make a motion? I haven't made a motion yet, and I'd like to make a
Yes, please
motion.
do.
The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I move to support,
You move-
Us
you make the
applying-
motion.
I move to support this.
The MDARD,
The MDARD, I move that we support the MDARD grant application.
and adopt
I
resolution.
second that.
And for the Rural Community Development Fund.
Perfect.
It's resolution PKS-2023.
It's actually,
Zero
should
one.
be 02 because we just did a resolution.
Oh, well,
All right.
I know, make it confusing.
great, so that's my motion. Sorry, I wrote on it.
Okay.
Okay.
I would definitely third that.
All right. Motion to approve Resolution PKS 2023-02. Motion by Hetmer.
Wait, MDARD is 01.
But we changed it because we've already made a,
One already, just tonight, for the park and rec plan.
yeah.
It is like the last week of December, and this is our first PKS.
Yeah, okay. And we had a second by Reardon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Okay. I gotta find my,
Yeah, meeting calendar.
yes.
So it's your regular meeting night, the third Monday, except for January and February. That gets moved to Tuesday night because of the holidays.
Yes.
Tuesdays are
You could alternatively move it to like the fourth Monday if you wanted to, if you don't like Tuesday, or,
Or that Wednesday, would that be better for you, Corey?
Oh, it's not, it's fine.
I mean, if there's conflicts,
we can adjust.
the meeting prior, we can always
Right.
make an adjustment.
Yeah.
Well, that would be today for the January one. So that means that we'll meet on January the 16th.
Correct.
I will,
Because
Date
of
my
MLK.
calendar.
So do you want to make this motion, Ally? To adopt the meeting calendar, resolution 03?
Yeah, so just read, Ally,
hold on. Let me get to the,
learning experience.
thank you. Okay, but we're only changing
You don't have to change
No,
anything.
we're not changing
just
anything.
January and February. This is just for the whole year.
Right, so
I
you're
see, I
just
see, I see.
adopting resolution, read the resolution and that's all you need to read.
Okay. I motion that we approve Resolution PKS-2023-03
Support.
for our meeting times for 2024.
Perfect.
All right. Motion by Hetmer,
Second.
support by
Oh, you
The
were
Rose.
second. I didn't hear you.
for the approval of Resolution PKS 2023-03. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right.
Okay.
the upcoming meeting dates, we're going to be January 16th, 2024, which would be the Tuesday, because the 15th is Martin Luther King Day. All right, anything else?
Oh, you've had the other public comment in there.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, my apologies.
So,
Um,
I'm sorry, so we got the community garden paperwork here.
That's going to be on the agenda for January.
Yeah, this is early.
No,
heads up.
I didn't remember if you said January or February.
I'd like to do it in January. I don't have anything else right at the moment to give you for January, so we'll spend the day talking about community garden.
Well, we can also talk about our, because then in February is our sledding.
Yeah.
We can talk about that too.
When do we do officers?
Oh.
Isn't that, like, wasn't that, or isn't that?
You can do that in January. Oh, we'll do it in officers.
We've done them in December, but
We've also
most
done
other
January.
boards I've sat on have done it in January, so I don't know.
Well, we didn't put it on this agenda, so we'll put it in January's.
And please note, the community garden, now, Sarah, you're going to resend out that.
You already have them in your inbox.
Okay, make sure you have 4,
Yes.
because you only ended up with
info
3
and
on the
garden
desk.
info.
There should be 4.
You'd have 2 info sheets, but they're different.
Right, one's a garden info and the other one's just a general info.
Gotcha.
But totally full, packed full of different
No doubt it.
subjects, so.
Yeah, so please see Susan's documents and come with changes and suggestions.
Is there anything?
Reread it
I need-
and read it, and you guys have a whole month, so come
Yeah.
back with some suggestions, or, hey, you did a great job, let's go for it.
I do need to offer up one more public comment since I accidentally bypassed that. Is there any public comment at this time?
Yes, thank you. Ralph Bednarz, resident on Rennie Lake. Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you for considering and incorporating both Carol Kusel's and my comments tonight on the draft management plan. And one other comment, low-impact development and environmental best management practices is, accepted terminology by environmental professionals. And their best management practices are documented in the scientific literature, and DEQ/Eagle has a 500-page manual that actually specifies best management practice for water quality improvements. So that is not just a nebulous term. Those are all well documented in the scientific literature. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I wrote notes that it's not defined, and you're telling me that they are through who again? Eagle?
Yes, currently named Eagle. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
500 pages? And none of you have read any of those.
Some light reading for us
Yeah.
in the evening. We're trying to fall asleep.
All right, if there is nothing else, I would,
One more thing.
one more, okay.
Can we throw the bylaws on the next agenda too?
We don't have bylaws.
We do.
Okay. Do you have a copy of them?
I believe I could probably pull it up in my email.
He wants it in the meeting.
Because I remember having a discussion about this before with
We had
Beth.
some
and-
that we reviewed, I thought, and passed.
Did you guys buy books?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
If there's bylaws, I'll find them and send them to you, and then we
Yeah.
can add them.
Authorities and responsibilities? I would
No,
like
I
to
think-
add something. Happy holidays.
Aw.
Aw, thank you.
Thanks, Corey. All right. If there's nothing else, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at, 7:40 PM for Monday, December 18th, 2023. All right. Thank you all for being here, and Merry Christmas.